so much of golf is dependent on how you set up to the ball. If your setup is off, you're going to be making compensations in your swing in order to correct the incorrect setup. So, a fundamental point, always make sure you have the best setup possible, and generally the swing will take care of itself. Now, there's some things you need to know about the setup in order for it to be successful, like what is the correct setup and why we do that. So I'm going to go through a couple points on the short game pitch shot of why we set up the way we do in order for you to be successful with your pitch shots. So let's start from the ground up. Generally, I like ball position in the middle of feet. Okay, if you put it more back, the ball will come out a little lower. If you put it forward, it will come out a little higher. If you put it forward, you may be more likely to hit the ground first. If you put it too far back, you might hit too much descending angle of attack, and if you do catch the ground, it's going to dig a little bit. So for most cases, you can put it right about in the middle of the stance. The feet, generally, we want them close together. This is for a few reasons. First, our swing arc is probably going to bottom out somewhere in between our feet. So the narrower we can have our stance, the more consistent we'll be able to hit the bottom point of the arc every time. I also like narrow feet because it keeps me from having to sway too much. If I have wide feet, I can easily shift my weight right and left and not lose my balance. If I tried to do that with my feet close together, it throws me off, and I definitely will not be able to keep my balance once my center of gravity goes beyond my foot. So, feet close together, ball position in the middle for balance, and it keeps the legs quiet. A nice wide stance that we might use for the driver allows us to really load and explode. We don't want that for pitch shots. We want to keep the legs soft and quiet. I'm not saying keep them still. We're going to have a little bit of soft movement, but we want it to be gentle. And the closer our feet are together, generally, the more gentle we can be. So, feet close together. Knees soft bend. Not too much knee flex. I want you to be feeling like you're almost a little bit taller than you normally might think. Okay, we'll get to that point later. The hips should be slightly open. In a full swing, when we strike the ball, our hips are open. Now, on a pitch shot, we might not have all that time to really open up the hips. So I found a little bit of hip opening clears the room for the arms to swing. What this also does is it helps me feel like I can get a little bit more weight onto my left side. We want about 60-40, maybe 70-30, with the majority on the left side as far as the weight. This will allow me to keep my swing at the ball level or slightly descending. I want to avoid swinging up on the ball, which is caused sometimes by keeping your weight back. You can see how that keeping my weight back is swinging up on it. Keeping the weight forward, it's going to help us to swing down on it. Okay? So we want to create conditions in our setup that allow us to produce the correct swing without us having to manipulate the swing during the swing. So, from the waist down, we've got feet close together. You might want to turn your front toe out or both toes towards the target just to help the hips opening up. Ball position in the middle. And then we want to feel like the chest and the torso is upright enough so that the arms can hang. We don't want to be so bent over that our arms need to be bent or the club needs to be way out. Okay? So I see a lot of people either bending their knees too much or crouching down because it's kind of a smaller shot, so they make their body smaller. Don't do that. Stay tall. Slight bend in the knees, back and shoulders upright, and now you can see as the club hangs, the limit is the ground. Okay? The limit of my stroke, if I let my arms hang all the way down, I want the limit to be the ground. This way I can turn through and not take a big divot. If I'm too bent over, I can hit the ground way back here. But if I'm up higher, I can't reach it. And then I can come into the ball. Okay? So those are your tips. Ball position in the middle, feet close together. Hips slightly open. You can turn your feet slightly open if you'd like. Chest nice and tall, and arms hanging. And as you make the stroke, just let the arms continue to be pulled by the momentum of the club. Don't have to reach, don't have to pull in, don't have to get it quick. Just let the arms hang, and then twist back and through. Work on that setup. Take pictures of it. Compare it to good golfers. See if you can find similarities. Having the correct setup is your first start, is your first point in hitting good pitch shots. Enjoy your work. Hey guys, if you found out that the pitch shot setup is working for you and it's improved your game, drop me a comment, maybe like the video, and let me know how it's going. I'd love to hear from you. Cheers.